Men in this day and age absolutely suck at losing body fat, and I'm gonna explain why. Specifically men in their 20s and 30s, I'm talking to you guys. And all it really is just your distractions and your vices. So what are some of the distractions that instead of leading you to have six-pack abs are now leading you to have love handles that hang over your belt line? The first one is just gonna be women. Chasing hookups, relationships, anything like that. I'm smiling because I know you guys are some dirty dogs out there. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna get as good quality women just chasing them compared to something that's going to make you a higher quality person to attract higher quality women as well. So like a six-pack or even clear skin or maybe even a defined face, because we're gonna get to a point that you're gonna be at a low body fat percentage. Every time you chase a woman is a night that you could have been following your plan to a T and getting good sleep, because when you're chasing a woman, you're probably on a night out. And let's be honest, you're probably gonna be abusing some sort of alcoholic beverage, which brings me to my next point. Another big distraction for men is partying, and it's not really that hard to see. And guys, the less obvious points I'm gonna make here are gonna be at the end of the video, so I know, just stick with me. But so many of you fellas will actually stick to a plan week to week, and then on the weekends, that's when you just throw all this shit away. Especially when emotions come into play. Emotional eating, emotional drinking especially. It's kind of defeating the purpose of the exercise you're doing in the first place. Some people say, I'm gonna work out more to drink more. Which is fine, but don't be the person that complains whenever they're not shredded or they don't have capped delts or big pecs or even a six-pack, because at this point you're just lying to yourself. So let's take that same person. They follow the plan to a T on the weekdays, and then they finally start to achieve it on the weekends too, and they don't actually go too far off plan on the weekends. Maybe they have one cheat meal, which is totally okay. I don't advise going on a cheat day, but a cheat meal is okay. But the dopamine of you following through on everything that you're supposed to do, locking in on your nutrition, your cardio, your weightlifting, the recovery as well, like that's the best part of it too. That's the most important part. If you lock in all of this stuff, you're just gonna be on point. You're gonna see rapid progress. But here's the thing, you always gotta realize that it's not always gonna be linear. There's gonna be some dips and dives, and something is going to take you away from that. Which my next point is overthinking. As fat loss and building muscle will legitimately work if you just stick with it, a lot of people can't seem to grasp this concept, and they'll get to a point where if they have one bad day, they start to spiral out of control. And what is that gonna do for you? But listen to me, you cannot overcompensate with doing more the next day because you fell off one day. You want to do the baseline level of activity that you have set out for yourself so that you can get right back on the rails. And that will ultimately be the determinant of what makes you progress in this case. So many guys overthink. They nail it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then it just goes all over the place. They have a, let's say you go on vacation, throw everything away, and then it turns your mindset off for that 1 week or 2 weeks that you're there, and then you come home and everything is just in shambles. And rather than fixing it, you kind of just feed into the negative energy that you put yourself in that vacation. Like guys, it's really not that big of a deal. If you go right back on track as soon as you get home, you'll feel better mentally because you're in a state of progress, and exercising does so much more for your mental health. Doing the hard thing is always going to be the better option. Yet we hate to admit that to ourselves. That's probably the best option. So alongside your ass overthinking the process, you could also be overcomplicating the process itself. And by this, I mean you don't think you're pushing yourself hard enough. So that means you try to do more one day, less the next. Kind of like whenever you're trying to play catch up when you're doing that cheat meal that turns into a cheat week or that vacation. But this is different because you're not seeing progress as quick as you want to, and you're highly motivated and you want to do more. But I'm going to tell you, more is not always better. Enough is better. You want to do enough so that you can get out, do it again tomorrow. This game is going to teach you so much patience, you have no idea. And if anything, if you want to do more of anything, at least just do more steps, because it will help with your calorie expenditure, which is how many calories you burn, but it'll also help with your mental health, and it's not too extreme so that you're in a constant loop of hunger. What happens is if you stop sticking to a plan and you go so hard one day and you just start going hard every other day after that because you're highly motivated, one, you will burn out, and two, your appetite is going to go through the roof, which leads to binge eating and maybe even emotional eating, because sometimes when people get into this process, it's not just because they hate the way they look, they hate the way they feel as well. So emotions play a huge role in this, and that's why a lot of people struggle to keep the weight off as well. I believe 80% of people who actually regain the weight back after they lost it, this is more in the fat loss process of like people who are overweight, is because of emotional eating. Emotional eating is going to play a huge role in how much you succeed in getting shredded or losing fat, because it's the main battle. And believe it or not, a lot of this shit is psychological. I feel like a fucking scientist right now. Holy shit. If you can completely change how you respond to stress, then you're going to win at this game every single time. I would say every fucker who's watching this video's comfort is food. Do you ever see like those romantic movies wherever the guy gets broken up with or the girl gets broken up with and they're on the couch eating a tub of ice cream to comfort them? The fuck? Like what? What if your comfort was going outside, doing some skipping, doing some jump rope, jumping jacks, going to the gym, lifting some heavy ass weight, blasting some music, getting with some friends and just having a lift with them? That buddy you know also exercises in the office that you work in? Dude, go with him on your break or something like that. Or do something with them on your break. Go on a walk. Because they can relate to the stress you're feeling and how they're dealing with it as well. The last point I want to touch up on is social media in comparison. I want to take this back to a story when I was completely hooked on social media. My mental health was literally in the gutter. I had completely gotten out of shape because, just like I was talking about in the beginning, I was in a relationship I shouldn't have been in. And that stopped me from achieving a lot of my goals. Now, it's not on fault with the girl I was with. She was lovely. She knows that. I let her know that. P.S. guys, don't ever leave shit on bad terms. It's stupid. Arguments are just for little kids, and if you're watching this, you're a man, so it doesn't make sense to argue. And the level of comfort and complacency I was in was at an all-time high. And I paired that with doom scrolling on social media all the time. I mean every day, every 4 hours. I would get in these 4-hour loops of just scrolling video on video, and there's no telling what the next one's going to be, and even what its intentions are. And I'm pretty into fitness. Like, I don't know if you could tell by now. I'm like doing my thing. I'm helping your ass, so you're listening to me for a reason. But how do you think I felt whenever I was at my lowest and just watching every single video be another person, another shredded little kid? It ate me alive, and it made me realize, like, what's the point of even trying? I'm going to be honest. Social media is here to show you the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And this shit is going to be mediocre half the time. You're not going to see these specimens just walking down the street. And also, you're not going to be in a Rocky training scene 24/7, so it's not going to be a TikTok video. It's not going to be super boring either, because you're actually doing something you're going to enjoy doing, because the momentum is amazing and the progress you're making is going to be amazing, and you're going to be a new you. But that means that you have a middle ground of it's kind of going to be mediocre half the time. So the best thing you could do for your mental health is just cut that shit out, and then also do the boring thing on repeat over and over and over and over again. And don't even expect anything at this point, because it's going to take way longer than you think it will. Then one day you're just going to look in the mirror and you're going to be like, huh, where'd that chest come from? Where'd that bicep come from? I'm going to be honest, for me, whenever I made more mental health progress, the more physical progress I made. It's such an underrated, beautiful tip that a lot of people sleep on. This also leads to the fact that people think that you're just going to get more guys whenever you get in shape. That's not the case. Your confidence should be going up, your mental health should be going up, and that should radiate from outside of you. That will ultimately lead to more women coming your way, so you don't even have to worry about the first point I made in the video. Like I said, we're all doing something to work on ourselves, and you most likely are trying to get shredded. So if you would like any other additional help from me, you can see the top link down below in the description. You can work one-on-one with me. If not, totally okay too. Keep enjoying the videos. I'm glad you guys are liking these. Peace.